Hi, everyone. My name is Val Edwards, and I am the president and founder of FTLOM Mateo. It is an official 501(c) that I actually started 10 years ago this year. So 10 years, it's amazing to see how far we've come. I am the mother of three and also a grandmother. I have a daughter who is getting ready to turn 25. I have a daughter who is 23, getting ready to graduate college and get married in June. And then we have a son, Mateo, who is 16. And it was Mateo that really kind of began this journey for us. My husband and I decided that we wanted to expand our family. We chose Guatemala because it was a country that was close to the US, and we knew that, we could make sure that he kept his home country and it was close, and we'd be able to keep it a part of his life and, that culture. And so we made the decision to start the adoption process back in 2006, and our son was actually born in March of 2007. He was 6 weeks old, so it was in May of 2007 when he was assigned to us. And it was at that point I saw his face. I knew he was meant to be in our family. Little did I know that, I thought that he was going to be coming home later that year. But little did I know that Guatemala was going to end up shutting down international adoptions. And so that's exactly what happened. We had some complications with our paperwork and things like that in Guatemala, things beyond our control, that unfortunately Guatemala shut down adoptions officially January 1st, 2008. And my son was stuck over there. He was actually stuck over there for 3.5 years. He ended up being one of the last 100 children to come home. They ended up, thankfully, doing a grandfathered-in process that got us engage or and kind of a part of, some different groups of other families that were going through the same thing. And there were actually 5,000 babies in process of being adopted when Guatemala shut down. So we all kind of banded together and really worked together to help each other through that process. And luckily, Guatemala kind of put together a department to help, those of us that were grandfathered in get our kids home. It was a long process, but the thing is, I remember early on as I was beginning my adoption journey, I remember having to, do these classes and read these books and, all these things. And I'd hear stories about adoptions that kind of went, a little crazy, but I never thought that we would be one of those cases. I'm like, oh, everything's going to work out perfect because I'm, very glass overflowing type person. And, we weren't. We were the one that definitely struggled. My son ended up, being in 3 different orphanages for the first 3.5 years of his life, being raised by multiple caregivers. Thankfully, I was able to travel to Guatemala multiple times during those 3.5 years to build a relationship with him, get to know him. I got monthly picture and video updates, thankfully, from, our adoption agency. But when I would go on those trips, I would see those other kids, and I knew in my gut Mateo was going to come home to us. I was going to have to fight for him, but I knew he was going to come home. But I know those other kids were not most likely going to ever have a family unit like Mateo was going to get to come home to. And I had this tug in my heart to do something more for them. So after about 1.5 years of having Mateo home from Guatemala, I wanted to get him settled. I want him to feel comfortable that this was his home and his family. My family, along with a few other friends and my business, ended up coming to Guatemala with me, and I organized my very first mission trip, and that was in June of 2012. At that time, we were just basically going to spend 5 days with the kids at the orphanage, love all over them, play, bring donations, things like that. I never had any intention of doing anything more than just maybe supporting them, through just my husband and I, and then going and doing some things, a little bit bigger things, through some of my connections, but I just didn't have any idea that I would ever, get involved in the nonprofit world. It wasn't until I got home and I had so many people seeing our photos, seeing the videos that we were posting, and it just felt so real. They had been on that adoption journey with me, trying to get Mateo home for 3.5 years, and they wanted to know how they could get involved. And I decided that, I was going to start a nonprofit because I had found out that the orphanage where my son was at the last 15 months basically of his life in Guatemala, the last 15 months of his time, not his life, in Guatemala, before he came home, I had found out that they were going to have to close down if they did not get some support to help pay for their rent. And so just in a matter of 2 days, I threw together the sponsorship program on PayPal. This is even before I had applied for nonprofit status. And we were able to get enough money in 2 days, just with some of my friends and business partner connections in my other business, to support that orphanage. And after I realized, okay, this is all kind of through me personally, it wasn't anything, with my business, I'm like, I need to probably, do something official with it. So I remember meeting with who now is our accountant. She was a friend, still is. And I just was like, maybe I need to make this official. And so she helped me, go through the whole long process of becoming a 501(c)(3). And I remember, had our mission statement and what we were going to be doing. And at the time, like, I didn't have plans to build a home. I didn't have plans to, dig wells and, provide clean water and all those things. It was just like all about the kids. And for the longest time, like, that was my total focus. But each time I would go back to Guatemala on a mission trip, I'd bring another group of people, half my heart was there. And I just felt this tug that there's something more I'm supposed to do there. And I would, meet someone on the airplane that, had an organization that they were going to serve. And long story short, literally over the last 10 years, we've expanded from supporting that one orphanage. And at one point we were almost fully funding that orphanage, providing them so much, but now have expanded into being able to support about 13 outreach projects throughout Guatemala, everything from building homes to providing clean water through water filters, stoves, so to be able to provide families with a safe stove, to be able to support a local nursing home. Lots of elderly, unfortunately, end up getting left on the streets and they're not able to be cared for. So we have a private nursing home that we're able to help support, just by monetary donations. We go on visits with our mission teams. We have a few outreach projects like community outreach that we do where we, will not only bring in activities and play soccer and things like that, provide meals, lunches, but we also have lots of scholarship programs that we're able to, get involved in. We have a boarding school that they actually provide education for children from 3rd grade all the way through university. So we have quite a few sponsors through my nonprofit that are able to support on a monthly basis, just even a small amount. It helps. So we do that. We've been able to build a school and a community center. We've been able to provide a few classrooms for a school that was already built at English Immersion School that's being built by one of the outreach projects that we support. We have multiple orphanages and homes that we support through, on our mission trips, we go and, do activities with them, but even on a monthly basis, being able to support them financially. We have an HIV positive children's home and school that we support. We also have a teen mom program that we support, which, we love. I mean, I literally could go on and on. There are a few memorials through for Love Mateo that we've been able to start. One was after my very best friend who passed away just a few years ago. She was actually Mateo's godmother and also a board member of my nonprofit. And we started a memorial that her family did through my nonprofit, but they've been able to do many things, not only build a home and, her name, but to be able to help different programs that would have been, something that Laura my best friend would have, it would have meant so much to her if she was alive. So they've been able to do a lot through that. One of our mission team members, her and her sister started a nonprofit, through our nonprofit started it's named after their brother, where they're able to, they've been able to pay for a classroom to be built, provide scholarships for children in rural communities. Literally so much. And through multiple memorials. My mom has a memorial. She passed away a few years ago. And so I love that For Love Mateo has expanded into being able to support so many different organizations. It's not just, bringing in donations, but it's actually being able to do something that's truly making a difference. We have an after-school program that we support. We also have paid, full-time salary for, my assistant who actually used to work for my adoption agency. We're able to pay her a full-time salary for years. 3 gardeners pay full-time salaries to them for a community garden where they use the vegetables and things that they grow to be able to give back to, their program, the community, the families in their community. I believe in sustainability. I believe in education. I think that the only way that I've learned, that the only way that things are going to really change in Guatemala is if we teach them how to be able to take care of themselves. And I think for the most part, people want that. They don't want just handouts. They don't want just donations, which, I learned the hard way. I came in with, this, idea that I could just give and help. And here I can take care of that. I can take care of that. But the best thing that I've learned is to be able to teach people how they can make money themselves, to be able to provide them with opportunities. Sometimes people just need to be inspired. Just recently, we added on to our nonprofit, we have it's called Mission of Love Teen Project. And so basically it's to be able to empower youth, to be able to, tweens, the teenage years, early adults, to be able to help empower them. And so they learn, goal setting, affirmations, they, learn what their strengths are. We talk about, some of the subjects that, go on in the teenage years, and to be able to help them navigate them and know that they're not alone. All of these things are things that are so important to me. And so our tagline is kind of mission of love. We're a mission of love. People used to ask, do you dig wells? Do you build houses? And I was like, no, we just go and level over the babies. We're a mission of love. But what's so amazing is that's really what we are. And yes, I started it. Yes, I took that leap of faith. But at the end of the day, the thousands of people over the years that have gotten involved with supporting For Love Mateo, whether it be through giving us, donations to take with us on our mission trips, making a donation through one of our fundraising auctions, or actually supporting us on a monthly basis. Like, we absolutely would not be where we're at today if it was not for all of those people that have made this possible. So if you are looking for an organization that you're wanting to get involved in, and you don't really know which organization or 501(c) or charity is good to get involved in, you guys, I am feet on the ground. Like, I go every year multiple times. Most of our sponsors, or a lot, I can't say most because we have quite a few, but like a lot of our sponsors that sponsor children through our projects actually come to Guatemala with us and get to meet their kids, build a relationship with their kids. I've literally seen the kids that my family sponsors from the time they were little bitty all the way, grow. Now they're in high schools. Like, it's so rewarding to be able to see that, your money does make a difference, to be able to physically go and see it with your own eyes. I've had friends say, can I just write a check? That makes more sense for me just to write a check instead of paying for the flights and, whatever to go there. And I'm like, no, I want you to come in person, because once you see it, you can't forget it, to be able to see lines of children, waiting for hours in the rain for shoes or clean socks, brand new underwear, like basics of basic things, to be able to see the joy on children's faces, when they receive something that, at home, our children typically don't even think twice about. It's so humbling, and I even find myself, I feel like I'm not extravagant, but I like nice things too. I'm normal, and I want to be able to travel and build a big home and do all those things. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's most important? And, I love the times of year that we go to Guatemala. I typically go in the summer, and I go in December. December is probably my favorite time to go, because that's just the month, for whatever reason, that I think, it ends up being excess. People end up spending money they don't have and doing all of these things, to buy gifts for their children. And then, I get to go to Guatemala, and I get to see like just joy, just happiness, for people that, you guys, it is just such a humbling experience. Children, I have children that come with us, families that come with us and bring their children year after year, and to be able to see, these kids and to see how they've taken that experience on a mission trip with us, and then to be able to bring that home and do something in their own communities. Like, it's so rewarding for me. I know that I get to live and walk in my purpose. I know that, my nonprofit was supposed to happen for me. I know that this is what I was supposed to do, a part of what I was supposed to do, a part of my bigger purpose. I used to tell Mateo, God has big plans for your life. And I believe that still to this day. And Mateo's a teenager. I've raised 2 teen daughters. I'm, currently raising Mateo, and, adoptions aren't easy. And that raising a child who has been adopted is not easy. Raising a teen boy is not easy. But I love that my son has been surrounded by some of the most amazing men and women who I know love my son. They love him like their family. And that's really what For Love Mateo is. It's a family, and it's a family of people that are servant-hearted and want to be able to give back, and they want to make a difference. And that's what we get to do with our organization. I called it For the Love of Mateo, because it was the love that I had for my son that kept me fighting for him for those 3.5 years. And, every time I go to Guatemala and experience a mission trip, I'm reminded again of what's most important. And it's humbling. I come back home and I'm like, to be able to go home into your warm bed, and, things may not be perfect in your home and in your situation. You may have lots of things going on that you're dealing with. I have a lot going on too. And then I go to Guatemala and I'm like, I see, a family of 8 living in a small little room the size of what my walk-in closet was at the house that we just sold a few years ago. It's mind-blowing to me, and it makes you appreciative of what it is that you have. And you may not think that you can make a huge impact by a small donation or by this or that, but I promise you, everything that we get, every monetary donation, from a Barbie doll to a micro machine card to a sticker to our monthly, supporters that support our organization, every one of those matter. To be able to provide a home for a family for $4,000, a 2-bedroom home with a bathroom, a shower. We paint it. We bring in a stove. We have a water filter. We provide them with a welcome home basket. They get all of that, for $4,000. And to be able to see the looks on these family members' faces, to be able to see a mom and a dad just sobbing, just so grateful to have this opportunity. They have to own their land or have it gift to them, but they do have to own it. There are some requirements to be able, for them to be able to be, get one of our homes. But our mission teams will come in and we'll paint them. We'll send the money, have it built, and then by the time we get there, we're able to paint it and get to meet the family. And gosh, like $4,000, that's a lot of money for a lot of people. But $4,000 for a home, like, guys, I mean, we have been able, I can't remember the exact, I want to say like we're close to 40. We may be over 40, because I know in one community we did 5, and then the other, I think that we're like 34 or something like that. So I think it's close to 40 homes that we will have built through For Love Mateo. And, if you guys find yourself where you're wanting to do something to give back, you're looking for an organization that you can, be a part of, not just send a check to monthly, or not just make a monetary donation here and there, but really make it a part of your life. I invite you to, reach out to me, reach out to one of our team members. We have a Facebook page, an Instagram page. We'd love to have you guys get involved. I lead mission trips twice a year. Myself, I have another team leader that, leads teams once a year as well. So you can join any of our mission trips. We have all that information on our website, forlovemateo.com. But I invite you guys to reach out to me and see how you can get involved and become a part of our For Love Mateo family. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this, and have a great day. Bye-bye.